My kids spilled my coffee. So we're having a great morning, let me tell you right now.
We could literally watch Kristen chain smoke cigarettes for freaking hours.
Hi guys. So welcome back. All right. This video, I'm going to try to not, heavily edit it. I kind of want this to just be like a raw conversation between like me and you. Like we're sitting on the FaceTime, we're sitting in my dining room, we're sitting on my couch, and we're just like talking. Okay, that's kind of where I'm at right now with where I want to have a conversation. Because in this video, I basically just want to be like, where are we? What are we doing when it comes to Bravo? Because I am just kind of over it. And I feel like everybody's kind of over it right now. I feel like Bravo is like this like demented space right now that I want like almost nothing to do with. I don't even want to be associated with it anymore. And it's very disappointing because the fans are so dedicated and have loved a lot of these shows for a very long time and a lot of these people for a very long time. And I feel like we're getting a little neglected over here as fans. Like, we are getting served stuff that we didn't ask for. You know, I was watching a video or an Instagram post from Sal on Instagram and TikTok, and she was saying like the old housewives and the old versions of the shows, like we didn't know what we had till it was gone. Like we had such funny like memeable, gifable moments, and that were just silly, that were not that were not so difficult and hard to consume, and the fighting was more like nothing and stupid. And now we're just in like a dark territory. We're in medieval times right now, and it's really frustrating. So I made a video yesterday that I was going to post, and I was going to edit some of it down just so, you know, for time purposes, and post it. And it was basically, the video was going to be basically, you know, how are you guys feeling about Vanderpump Rules? Where do you guys think we should go from here? What do you guys want to talk about here on, what do you want me to talk about on the YouTube channel? How do you want me to approach things? And then a little bit about the lawsuit with Leah McSweeney from Real Housewives of New York. And then this has happened to me before, where I will get ready to post content about stuff that's going on in the Bravo cinematic universe. And while I'm doing the video and not on my phone, shit will pop up, shit will come up. And it's like, well, I can't post that now because it's irrelevant, basically. You know what I'm saying? And it's so frustrating. So I had to delete that video because it's useless and pointless and it's not relevant to now, because we have to talk about Scandoval situation and that in the lawsuit with Rachel, and we have to talk about Brittany and Jax, and we have to talk about, I think, Bravo as a whole and the lawsuits as a whole and what that's doing to Bravo, and the Bethany Frankel of it all. And I think that's what we are going to talk about today. And maybe while I'm recording this, more crap will come out. I have no flipping clue. But I am going to post this at least. And it is what it is. What I give you is what I give you. And we'll just kind of go from there. So I guess the first things first is, you know, if you've been living under a rock, Raquel, formerly known as Raquel, has decided to sue Tom Sandoval and Ariana Madix for revenge, P-word, and basically distributing said P-word. Private videos. Let's go with that. Intimate private videos. That's what we're going to call it. Intimate private videos. Okay? So we all knew that this happened because Ariana had talked about how she found a explicit video of Tom and Raquel on FaceTime together. And that's when Ariana was like, oh crap, my boyfriend's a loser and a cheater and a liar and the worst human being that's ever existed on the planet. So Ariana says that she has stated on Scheananigans that she does not have that video. She did not distribute it to anybody else, and that she has nothing to do with that because Rachel's lawyer sent a cease and desist to the entire cast, basically being like, if you have this video, if you have knowledge of it, if you have seen it, get rid of it, get it away. Like, this needs to not exist anymore. So according to Rachel and her lawyer, this video must still exist then, because they're asking for it to be deleted, for nobody to be able to see it, and for it no longer to be distributed. Which, who's distributing it? That's what I'm trying to understand. It's like, who has this video and who's distributing it? And why do you feel like it's still being distributed? And why do you feel like someone still has it? That's concerning to me. That's the kind of weird thing to me. And what's really bothering me is that because she put Ariana in this lawsuit, people are naturally going to talk about why she has Ariana in the lawsuit versus that Tom Sandoval admittedly recorded another person in an intimate moment without their consent. We're not going to talk about that for some reason. I don't know what that's about. Patriarchy, misogyny, I don't fucking know, okay? I don't know. But what I do know is that every comment section is focused on, why is Ariana in the lawsuit? Why is Ariana in the lawsuit? This makes no sense. And then kind of like debunking why she should even be in it and why she shouldn't be in it at all. And so we're doing that instead of talking about how Bravo has hired someone and continued to have somebody on their shows that recorded another person in an intimate moment without their consent. We're just going to glaze over that, which is, in my video that I deleted, I kind of talked about how I find it very concerning that the way that the show is, Vanderpump Rules, is developing right now, it's trying to somehow give Tom Sandoval like a hero edit, and I don't get it and I don't understand, because current day, he could not be further from a hero. He could not be further from a good person. He is not a good person. He is a narcissist, and I will stand on my 10 toes and say that with my chest out. He is not a good person. He is a bad person. He is a narcissist. Without me being a diagnosable person, I have brain cells. And if any, like, this is a person to diagnose. Like, he is a narcissist. He is a bad person. He is disgusting. He is wrong in every situation. He doesn't make any sense in the crap that comes out of his mouth. He's ignorant. He's blameless for everything. And one of the things that also bothers me about this lawsuit is that this has already come out. Like, we already knew this. Like, if you've been following along with Scandoval for the last year, which, by the way, happy anniversary. That's coming up. Or is that, I don't even know when that is, but, like, I'm pretty sure today was the day that Scandoval broke. Pretty sure it was March 1st. And what's bothering me is that there is a part of this lawsuit where she talks about how she actually tried to talk about this with cameras up when they were talking. She tried to do that. And then Sandoval got pissed off and told Vanderpump Rules that he was not going, like, the producer was like, I will not be on the show if you show me talking about that. I will leave. And they took that, I guess, seriously, which I don't know why they did, because he's so freaking star reality TV hungry. He would do anything to stay on that show. Give me a literal fucking break. And they agreed with it, and they cut out the part of that conversation. So somewhere there is tapes of that conversation. Somewhere in the Bravo cinematic universe, there is video proof of that conversation happening, or it was deleted, who knows. And producers just like took that out of the video, like took it completely out of the show, which takes away a huge part of context, which also takes away a huge part of Rachel's story. And I have always thought, for a while at least, like, you know, with a head cleared in recent months, I should say, you know, I do think Rachel deserves to have her own story. I wish she would have come back on. I really do. I wish she would have come back on. I wish she would have been able to speak her truth, apologize, separate herself from Scandoval, and I think she could have found her way back in the group somehow, in some capacity, mostly in my opinion in like the Scheana part of it. But that's never going to happen now, because you've lost all of us. You've truly lost the plot. Okay. I also don't understand why it's taken her so long to file this lawsuit. And that just might be like me not understanding how like the law works basically, and how these situations work. I don't really understand why it's taken her a year to file this. I think it's very interesting that Bethany is I thought I heard correctly that one of these lawyers is Bethany Frankel's lawyer, which means Bethany Frankel's involved. Which, by the way, Bethany Frankel's like, I'm no longer doing housewife content. I'm no longer speaking about this. It's a toxic environment. It's like, thank God. Thank literal God. We have been begging you to stop talking about the housewives for over a year now. We've been begging you to stop. And now all of a sudden you're like, oh my God. Again, gaslighting. Like, oh my God, this environment's so toxic. It's like, no, you're toxic. You're a toxic person. And your motive is incorrect. Your motive is self-serving versus actually supporting and helping victims within Bravo. Because I do believe that Rachel is a victim of Bravo. I do believe that. It does not surprise me, sadly, that Bravo minimized Rachel's portion of this story. I think it was a great idea for her to leave. But I saw comments of people being like, oh, I think she left and this is part of it. You know? I don't know. I just don't understand the Ariana part. I don't understand the Ariana part dragging her into it, because in my opinion, unless she is a diabolical liar, she has already said that she has nothing to do with this. Her lawyers have already spoken to Rachel's lawyers over almost a year ago about how she is not involved in that, and that Rachel should focus on Tom, who actually video recorded this and kept it. She should be focusing on him. So I just don't get the Ariana part. And I'm sure Ariana's sitting over there like, go ahead, sue me. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. You can sue anybody. And I'm sure Ariana is fine. She's going to continue to be on Broadway and living her best life. And I'm hoping that I genuinely hope that she decides to not be on the show moving forward. Like, after this season, when the season is done, I hope that she doesn't come back to the show. I hope that this is the last season for at least her and Katie, for sure. Because I think that they are beyond this show now. They don't need this show to survive and to thrive and to be good people. They just don't need the show. And I honestly don't even want them on the show anymore. I'm like, please go live your life. Go be happy. Like, get away from these disgusting people that like don't give two rats about you and are bringing you down. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you were in the real world, okay, and you had nothing attaching you to your partner, like the house is attaching them still together, but like at the end of the day, if they were on this show, they wouldn't talk to each other. Even if they had the house together, they still wouldn't talk to each other. You wouldn't spend time with them. You wouldn't be friends with the people that are around your ex-partner. Like, you would separate completely from that world that you once lived with them, so you can move on with your life. And Ariana is trying to move on with her life, but apparently like Tom and Rachel just don't want to let that happen. I think that Rachel missed her, whether this is right or wrong, I think that Rachel missed the train when it came to getting the most out of the scandal. I think that she kind of had her opportunity and she lost it. And now it's kind of her side of the story is almost like irrelevant. It's like, okay, and like she's better off, in my opinion, apologizing, letting it go and moving on and doing something else. But instead, she starts a podcast talking about her side, watching every single episode. It's like, is that not traumatizing to you? Is that not traumatizing to you to rewatch this show? You were in a mental institution, according to you, that the reason why you were there is because of this group of people. So why are you like re-traumatizing yourself watching them? That's like, some of this just doesn't add up. Like, this is just me firing stuff at you guys to see what sticks to the wall and what you guys think. Because I just don't understand. I just don't get it. I understand the suing Tom part. That part I get. The Ariana part doesn't make sense to me. And I will tag the video, I think it's TikTok, that Scheana did. And she's a mutual of mine on TikTok. And she posted like a little bit of like a miniature, like I think it was less than 5 minutes, timeline of the series of events and how she believes that Ariana should not be involved in this lawsuit. And I will tag the video down below so you guys can go watch that on TikTok or Instagram, whichever one I post. I'll give it to you. But and I think that was a good video. And I think it explained a lot of things. And it just doesn't make sense to me why Ariana's involved. It just doesn't really make sense. And if it makes sense to you, literally comment below. Please comment below. I don't even care if it's like a paragraph or paragraphs. Explain to me why Ariana should rightfully be involved. And be like, be matter of fact. Don't be an a-hole. Don't be like, well, just be real and tell me. I want to know. Like, what am I missing? Because Scheana said the same thing on her video. She's like, what am I missing? Like, unless there's something out there that we don't know, which could be a thing. Like, there is information out there that we could definitely not know. But it doesn't make sense to me. This doesn't make any sense. That part doesn't make any sense to me. So I guess the other thing that popped up around the same time was Jax and Brittany separating. And a lot of people are going back and forth about whether or not that's a crock of shit, basically, for the Valley. To, like, rev up stuff for the Valley. Like, here's the thing, you guys. People are going to watch the Valley either way. We didn't need this to watch the Valley. Like, I'm watching the Valley because of intrigue. And I just want to see what happens. It could be the greatest show. It could be the worst show. It could be really fun. It could be horrendous. I don't know. I will be watching it because I follow these guys for a very long time and I just want to see what they're up to. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're toxic, horrible people. And I want to see the new people in the group too. But it's hard. I go back and forth because I could see the two of them faking this. I could see that. But I also can see where Brittany could be fed up with Jax because everybody's been fed up with Jax. Like, everybody has. And a lot of people have distanced themselves from Jax in the original Vanderpump Rules group. I think Lala has talked about it. Stassi obviously does not talk to them anymore. And I mean, Stassi honestly has always, you guys can hate her and dislike things that she's done, because I definitely have, for sure. But when it involves this particular group of people, everything else aside that she's done, this particular group of people, she really has always had their number and has known who is what and how, and has kind of always been on the right side of history with this group. Like, her and Katie have always had Scheana's number. Always. And at times I felt like they were very cruel to her and that Scheana maybe didn't deserve the amount of hate that she got from that group of women. But looking at overall, out of all the people that Scheana is going to not stick up with, like, it's Ariana. Like, Ariana's been your ride or die girl. Like, has fallen on a sword for you multiple times. Multiple times. Not to mention, Scheana was one of the first people to call out that Sandoval and Ariana were not a good couple together. She was one of the first ones to call it out. And now, all these years later, you're finding every single bit of crumbs that you can gather up to justify being friends with Sandoval or talking to him or having some type of like apology or like what, like you're not going to get anything real from that man. He doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about Brock. He doesn't care about Summer Moon. He doesn't care about any of you. He only cares about himself. He only cares about himself. And that's just what it is. And the people around him, like Billy Lee, ugh, are going to just suck on his big toe until the end of time. What else do you think is going to happen? So with the Jax and Brittany, I could see both sides. I could definitely see how Jax and Brittany would be doing it for the show. But I also see how Brittany could be like, dude, you're fucking full of shit. Here's the thing is, I had a feeling when they started doing the show, because we all know Jax is like, oh, we don't need to be back on TV. Everything's fine. Blur, 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 blur. That when he was able to get back on TV, he was going to. He was going to find a way, okay? He did it with House of Villains. Obviously, he did it. Of course, this show is his idea. This show is, oh, God, I'm so happy I pitched this. I'm so proud of myself. Oh, yeah. It's like, at what point are you destroying your family because you want to be on TV so bad? And we know he wants to be on TV so bad. We know it. So it wouldn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form if that has something to do why Jax and Brittany are kind of like separated right now. She says she's living in a separate house completely, which I find crazy and interesting. And then, of course, TMZ follows him everywhere right now, which I'm sure he's like, I'm going to be here at the gym. Come find me. It's like, none of these people are just like genuinely walking around. The only person I've ever seen like genuinely walk around and be like, please leave me alone was Ariana. Because the paparazzi would follow her everywhere. And she's like, yeah, thanks. Just trying to get on flight. Leave me alone. And they're following him at the gym or whatever, I think is where he was. And he was like, no, we're living together. We live on the same roof. We're fine. Everything's going to be fine. It's all good. So why is Brittany posting on your podcast that you're separated right now and living in separate houses? Now, here's the thing. I could 1000% see Jax not accepting that she's separated from him right now. I could 1000% see that. Because remember when she had the thing when he was on House of Villains and he basically thought like she was like dying of like a heart attack or something, or like some aneurysm or something crazy, and she was like, no, Jax, that's not what happened. I basically just had a cough and a little bit of a flu and that was it, and I went home. And he was like, no, you literally had cancer, diabetes, you died, and I basically watched the life slip out of your body. I'm like, nope, that's not what happened. So I could definitely see that too, where she's like, no, Jax, we're not together. Okay, we're not together right now. We're separated. And here's the thing. Brittany, be careful. Be careful. Because you're going to end up in Ross and Rachel territory of like, were we on a break or not? And then off he goes, hanging out with other chicks, winging around with his dingling. And then all of a sudden you're back together and he's like, I thought we were on a break, babe. I thought I could just do whatever I wanted, babe. Watch that happen. I'm just saying. Jax hasn't changed as much as people think he has. I think Lala was saying that on her podcast. She's like, I think you guys are going to see that Kristen and Jax and Brittany have not changed as much as you would think they have in the last, 4 years? So here we are. And of course, Sandoval, I think, is leeching back onto Jax, not because they're genuine friends again. I think because he wants to get onto the Valley. In my opinion, no proof of that. But in my opinion, I think Sandoval is like, well, Vanderpump Rules is probably going to end this season because that all messed up. And it was not my fault. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm fine. And so he's going to end up on the Valley. And if he ends up on the Valley, I'm not watching it. First of all, I'm not watching Vanderpump Rules right now. Newsflash. That's another reason why I wanted to make a video, because I'm like, what do you guys want to talk about? Because I'm not talking about Vanderpump Rules online like until I feel like I need to, I guess, like snippet things. But I'm not going to create a full video just sitting here talking about an idiot and his dumb choices. I can't do it anymore, because that's what every episode is of Vanderpump Rules right now. It's how can Tom Sandoval dig himself in a deeper hole? And how can Lisa Vanderpump justify it? How can Tom Schwartz justify it? And how can, Scheana be like, I don't know, we should be friends. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nope, you're evil. You're pure evil. He's just a bad person. Like, can we just all accept it? Why does it matter? What is the big deal? That's what doesn't make any sense to me. What is the big deal? Who cares about this dude? Like, I just don't understand. Like, what does he have over you that you feel like you have to be around him? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think he's a horrible friend. I think he's a horrible partner. I think he's just a bad person. So I don't understand, like, the dedication to this man. Or like, oh God, we have to try to get his good graces. No, why? Nope. I love how Allie is like constantly calling him out and constantly calling out the situation. And she's just like, okay, I love Allie. I love Allie. James, keep that girl. I'm telling you. I don't know if he will, but I hope he does. And the other thing I think right now is what's going on. Like, where do we go from here with Bravo? Because I think Bravo is taking a massive hit right now in the culture of the people that work on these shows and the people that are the stars on these shows. There is a huge issue. And with the Brandy and Caroline situation, that's very messy. So messy. Because I feel like if we saw the videos raw, and I'm not talking edited, I'm talking raw videos. If we watch the raw videos of what happened on that trip, I think that would, for the audience, have a clearer understanding of what happened. And then we could decide, what happened. And not necessarily whose side are we on, just like, I just want to know what really genuinely happened. If that is Brandy is right, if that means Caroline's right, or if that means that there is somewhere in between, I'm fine with that. In my opinion, I think there's somewhere in between. I think there is a world where Brandy had good intentions, was having fun, having a good time, and Caroline probably in parts of that was having a good time. But then Brandy took it, as she usually does, just maybe one step too far, and Caroline got uncomfortable and couldn't come back, and they just could not come back from that. That I could see happening. With the Leah situation, I have a hard time with it because, again, it's one of those situations where I feel like two things can be correct at the same time. On one hand, I do think that Bravo definitely had a hand in inappropriate behavior, decision-making, conversations with Leah. I could definitely see Andy having inappropriate conversations with staff members, but also I think it also like depends who you're talking to. Like, if she's talking to like if he's talking to like Kate Chastain about something silly and she thinks it is silly, then that's what it is. It's all about like how you take the conversation. Do I think that Andy Cohen is just like doing lines of blow? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But I also think that one thing is that I think Leah is really reaching to try to blame her non-sobriety on somebody else. That's my interpretation of what I keep seeing from Leah. It feels to me, that she wants someone to blame for why she stopped being sober and why she would get drunk and act like a fool and be ridiculous. And it's like this balance of, you are an adult, you do need to take accountability for your actions, and you do need to take accountability for you as a human and your actions and what you're going to do and how you're going to behave and what you're going to consume and your boundaries when it comes to staff and cast and producers and all that stuff. You do have to do that. But at the same time, I do understand the side of like, some of these women, like, they need these reality TV shows to have money, to be successful. So, some of these women have gone through divorces, have gone through really rough times. And this show was the financial escape from those situations. A lot of these women, I truly believe, went on these shows with bad marriages to expose them, to get divorced, to be able to have the money to get divorced and to separate from that spouse. I do truly believe a lot of these women do that. And I just feel like Leah needs a little bit more support and help in the sobriety department, because there are so many people on these shows who are sober, who are good characters on shows, have had a lot of fun on shows, and have added to the show's development. James and Lala. Lala has been sober for 4 years. James was sober for 2 years. They still were acting like wackadoos on their shows. They still were acting crazy. They still were entertaining. Okay. Luann, the Countess, she was sober for multiple seasons. She went in and out of seasons, but she was entertaining. She was fun. She had things to say. The new cast of Real Housewives of New York. Uba is sober, and I believe Jenna Lyons is sober. They've added to conversations. They've added to things. They've made good points. You know, the entire vacation was basically about Uba and Uba being upset. Okay, so like she added value to the show. So there's been people on these shows that have been sober people that have continued to stay sober and still be entertaining. And I just feel like Leah might have some inner demons that she needs to deal with about her sobriety. And she might need to take accountability about that. Now, I can only tell you what I've seen on the show. What I saw on New York Housewives was I saw a lot of those women begging her to go back to being sober. I saw Luann being like, hey, we can be sober buddies. Like, we don't have to drink and be crazy like that. There's no need for that. And her not wanting that, and her being like, no. Like, I think Leah is in a very weird spot with her sobriety. Again, these are just my opinions. This is just from the information I have and that I've seen. It doesn't mean any of this is true or factual. It doesn't mean this is how Leah feels. It doesn't mean this is where Leah's intentions are coming from. It just means from what I'm staring at, what I'm reading, what I'm looking at, I'm seeing a broken person who's having a hard time dealing with their sobriety and is trying to blame somebody else for the issues within that sobriety. But I do also agree, and I do also believe Leah in that producers handled her in not positive ways and pushed her to certain situations that she probably didn't want to be a part of, but was a part of. And that, you know, I believe the same thing with Brandy. You know, I believe Brandy that her and producers have had a really rough time together and that they've had really bad conversations. I believe that they've probably blacklisted her at times, like, especially lately. And I believe all of that. I believe that Caroline possibly thinks that Bravo pushed Brandy and that weird storyline that was supposed to be a part of that trip. I believe that happened. I believe these parts, but I also believe these things with the characters of these women and the way that they behave. You know, like, they can both exist. I can believe that Brandy has toxic behaviors, but I can also see a world where Bravo pushes her and uses those toxic behaviors to their benefit to entertain us. You know what I'm saying? Erica Girardi is in a lawsuit right now with Marco. So that's like a whole thing right now. And I think she's going to try to have some type of redemption arc with her show that she's going to have. And, you know, other housewives have spoken up. You know, Luann was like, I've never experienced a bad experience with Andy Cohen. I've never been offered to have drugs with Andy Cohen. You know, I want Leah to be the best version of herself. You know, Cynthia Bailey has said that she's never had a negative experience with Andy Cohen. It just is what, I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot of people that are, I don't think they need to defend Andy. That's the thing, is like, you don't need to defend him. I think that if you were asked a question like, what do you think? I'd be like, my experience is this. And that's all I can speak on. I can't speak on someone else's experience. If they experience that with Bravo, if they experience that with Andy, that's something that they need to figure out for themselves and they need to work on. But what I can tell you is that I've never had an experience like that with Andy. I have had nothing but positive experiences with producers and production in Bravo. And I really hope that Leah, Brandy, Caroline get the resolution that they want in the end, to make sure that they're safe and they're okay. There's nothing wrong with saying things like that. You know, I see some people that are like defending Andy, and it's like, why? You don't need to defend him. He's fine. He's fine. No matter what happens, he's going to be fine. You know what I'm saying? just speak on your experience and how and what you've had, and then that's it, and move on. You don't need to defend anybody, and I think what's going to happen now is Bethany's going to sink her teeth into all this and make it even messier than it is, instead of making it this clear, concise conversation about how talent and production need to work better together, and production needs to not push cast members over the edge and put them in very toxic situations just for the sake of entertainment and ratings. Like, it can't be. These are real humans, whether they are entertaining or not. These are real people. You know what I'm saying? These are real, raw people that are going through real, raw situations. And we should be supporting them and helping them, not making it fucking worse. So I will say Bravo to me right now is just like exhausting. Their existence to me right now is truly exhausting. Everything that comes up about them is exhausting. It's so negative. It's so sad. I just hope that the truth is revealed. And if that means that Bravo goes down, then Bravo goes down. If that means that one of the women are wrong, then the women are wrong. But I do believe that there are things that Bravo is doing that's toxic and not good. I do genuinely, everything else aside, I genuinely do believe that. I genuinely, with all my heart, nothing to prove it, no facts, no evidence, just my opinion, that Bravo has a negative part in this. I believe that, me personally, my opinion. It's just my opinion. You guys like that I wore my I survived Scandoval shirt? I feel like it was perfect for this talking comment, So, I don't know, guys. This is just what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to have like a very raw, like unedited video to talk with you about how I feel about Bravo, how I feel about these situations. Where do we go from here? Comment below. Please tell me, where do we go from here? What do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys want to watch? What do you guys want to discuss? Is it more pop culture things? Is it Bravo? Is it different reality TV shows? Is it different programs? Is it MTV reality TV shows? Is it TLC reality TV shows? Is it non-reality TV shows? You're just like, no, screw it. Is it we go back in time and watch old reality TV shows and talk about them? Is it you guys just want to gossip and just chill and chat? What do you guys want? We're a small but mighty community here. Okay, that's what I tell everybody over on my TikTok account, which has the most followers. I say, listen, here's the thing. We're small but we're mighty. And I will sit here and I will chit chat with you what you want to chit chat about. Within reason, obviously. I don't want to talk about things that I don't want to talk about. But, I love everything. I love reality TV. I love true crime. I love, scripted television. I love pop culture as a whole. I think growing up as a millennial, pop culture is just a huge part of my life. Massive part of my life. And I love gossiping and talking about it and chit-chatting about it. And I think it's just fun to have that back and forth with you guys. So I want to do whatever makes you guys happy to talk about, whatever's fun to talk about, whatever opinions you want to hear come out of my mouth. The fact that you guys even want to hear my opinions is insane to me, okay? Insane to me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you, okay? We're besties. But for me, I'm not going to be doing recaps of VPR of this season 11. I'm definitely willing to do a full recap of season 4. I've already done, if you haven't watched it, I'll put it up here. Recap of season 2 and season 3, which are my favorite seasons of reality TV pretty much ever. They're just psychotically insane and wonderful. But I can do a recap of season 4 if you want. I can do whatever we think is fun to do, and just chuck things out there, just throw things out and see what sticks to the wall, honestly. So I hope you guys like this video. I love you guys. Smash that like button. You love when YouTubers say that. I'm like, gross, ick. But give me a like. I would really appreciate it. Subscribe, come hang out with me. I do 1 video a week as of right now. That's where my life is available. So 1 video a week. And follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram, follow me on X. Flop City. X is Flop City. Follow me over there though. You want to. All the links in the bio. And subscribe and just come hang out with us and have a good time once a week, just chatting about what's going on the internet, what's going on in reality TV in the world. And hopefully we will have something more fun to talk about next time we see each other. Something more silly, something more fun, and a little less like, you know what I'm saying? I think that would be a lot more fun. Okay. I love you guys. Have a great day. You're the best. Love you, bestie. Bye-bye.